So you'll hear a little bit about, let's see, what's on the agenda here. Some of the transition that took place, I'll talk a little bit about that. Some of the transformation that took place, I'll talk something about that. I'll do a little PowerPoint there. The new family of schools charts, you know, what schools feed to what schools are connected to what programs. New laws, rules, and regulations. There's some things that are upon us that are mandates, not optional, in terms of if we're going to be offering programming and those who are directing or heading or involved with those programming. You're going to hear about our website. Actually, you're going to see a demonstration of the website and some of the things that are featured there that'll be tools for you all to use as coaches in your programs. And then we'll hear something about academic monitoring. You know, the sole purpose for us to be here in working in the school system is really to make sure students are student athletes and they are successful in life. Yes, we would like them all to go Division I, pro, NBA, NFL, Olympics, but if that does not occur, are they prepared to move on and be productive citizens in the world? And we want part of our experience to enhance their ability to do that. And then you'll hear about some of our district events that are connected to all of you as well. I don't think I need any formal introduction, but in case I do, I am Kurt Johnson, the Executive Director of K-12 Athletics for Grand Rapids Public Schools. So I did that just for the taping purposes. Well, without any further ado, I'm going to get right into this first block hour because it has a lot of things in there, and we want you to kind of stay in tune and go on this journey with us as we quickly do present some of this information in these different categories and areas. How many of you are familiar with our vision statement? Raise your hands if you're familiar with our vision statement. All right, that's something you need to be familiar with. That is the focus of what we do in this department. If you don't know where we're going or what our vision is, then you're out there wandering, you know, in terms of how you approach your job and your work daily. And our vision, is it on our staff back there? We will create educational opportunities, you know, and experiences. And we happen to do it through athletics. And like I said, the goal is to make sure kids are prepared to move on to the next phase of their life and have we equip them with the necessary skills and development that will allow that to happen. And so other departments do it through math. Some do it through band. Some do it through robotics. We happen to do it through athletics. And we want to create opportunities for students beyond 12th grade. And so the time that they spend with us is that dress rehearsal for life beyond 12th grade. And so we want to make sure we're enhancing student achievement. Students are well prepared, academically sound. Student development. We have developed their levels of skills that they can compete with anybody, anywhere, anytime. And school culture. There's a sense of pride in what we do, and they should always feel connected to the school experience that they had. I've been out of school for about 32, where's one of my classmates? 32 or 33 years now, and I'm still connected to Ottawa Hills, you know, after all these years. And so we want to make sure that experience is happening for every kid that comes through our programs or interacts with us. Let me take you on a little journey of transformation. Gosh, I'm gonna try to stand in front of here and do this. Can I just take this? Oh, I can take this. Oh, all right. I've been paroled. Been released. Transformation, you know, we had, the Board of Ed approved some changes and we needed some drastic changes to take place in the district because we were trying to make sure we were using our resources appropriately for the students that we served. And we had a dip in student enrollment, and so we had a lot of buildings open that were half full. We had a lot of programs that needed to be changed, and so on and so forth. And so we had a transformation plan that allowed us to do that. And so I'm going to kind of walk you through some of the things that about the transformation plan, as well as some of the things that you may or may not know about what goes on in the district, or some of the accomplishments we had in the district. And Chelsea's going to narrate or navigate the website. So this is our transformation. We say transformation will transform you. And we're talking about you as well as student athletes. Our superintendent's expectations. Our superintendent's goal is to create a first-class institution with highly effective learning environments that will produce student outcomes, preparing them for graduation and beyond. Graduation and beyond. The time they spend with us needs to be well spent. We, in the transformation plan, We closed 10 schools. We reconfigured several other schools. There are a lot more K-8 buildings now. We are reopening a former elementary school, Stocking. I think there's a Stocking alumni in the audience. That school has been reopened, and we have several new community partnerships. I know Ottawa Hills has one to the HBCU. It's a new partnership for them where kids who are graduating from Ottawa Hills can get like full ride scholarships into historically black colleges and universities. We developed a new athletic brochure for the public, and you'll have, I think we have some of these here, and I know there's some of them in the varsity coach section. And those, it talks about the program offerings by the season, by the school division, high school, middle school, as well as elementary program offerings. And we want to saturate the community so they know what's available and what we offer and what we do and what you all do in athletics. A rich tradition of athletics, 35 state championships. We have notable famous alumni, many professional athletes. We are still developing our national coaching standards. We have academic support for athletes, many college scholarship athletes as well. We upgraded several facilities. We're not done. We're going to continue that. We have a focus on our lower level development. We have our varsity leadership model in terms of where our varsity coaches are leading us down the roads that we need to go. We have a Hall of Fame inductee, Shatoya Likely. Give her a round of applause. I was privileged enough to attend that ceremony in St. Louis University, down in St. Louis, and it was just really inspiring and emotional to become a part of permanent history, not passing history, permanent history. So your grandkids, great-grandkids, and so on and so forth, you are part of the institution forever based on the accomplishments and the things that you've done, and we really appreciate you being a part and bringing that standard of excellence to the district. Many highly qualified teaching staff. We have Michigan Teacher of the Year, which is no feat to accomplish. And Bobby Joe Kenyon, Ottawa Hills, was voted as the best teacher in all of the state of Michigan. And that's quite a task to accomplish. Community partnerships, the Student Advancement Foundation. If you don't know what SAF is, you're going to learn more about that. You should get to know what SAF does. SAF goes out into the community and raise major money that allows us to run athletic programming, that allows us to buy equipment, that helps out when we need to pay coaches, those sort of things. RDV, Rich and Maria DeVos Foundation, again, community partners who support the programs and the things that we do, and a lot of funding comes by way of those organizations. We have a partnership with the city of Grand Rapids called We Are GR, so you'll see like a newspaper. Sometimes it's electronic, sometimes I think it's in print form as well. You'll see billboards in terms of our partnership with the city of Grand Rapids. No city can truly be vibrant and vital unless the school district is vibrant and vital. And so they really understand that, and they're walking alongside us to make sure that we are the best school district that we can possibly be. GVSU, they are helping with our coaching education. We have a lot of GVSU faculty and staff. We have two that will be with us today, Dr. Richard Albrecht and Dr. Dana Monk, that will be leading some sessions this afternoon, and they're helping us develop our coaching education. Education for coaches has to continue. You know, we have to get better and better and better at what we do. And if you think about continuing education in terms of if you need to have surgery, and a doctor who graduated in 1976, two doctors who graduated in 1976 are the ones that are going to operate on you. One graduated and did nothing after that. The other one continued to find out what were the newest techniques, what was the newest remedies, medicines to use. Which one would you want to operate on you? I think it's the one who continued his education, I would dare say, versus the one who was maybe stuck back in yesteryear. So as coaches, we have to continue to learn and develop as well. Spectrum Health, there's another partnership that's with us as well, and they'll be visible and doing things with us. Special community events. Our annual turkey trot, which all of you should be a part of. We've grown that event from about 500 runners to about 2,000 now, and we're expecting even more than that this coming Thanksgiving Day. So all of you will have a role, and your ADs will kind of carve that out for you because, again, those events that raise funds for us support what it is that you do when it is time for us to try to buy something or have to pay for something or pay for the things that we do in athletics, a lot of those funds comes through those avenues. So it's important that you're connected to those, participate in those, and stay involved in those. Then we brought back the holiday tournament. Ottawa Hills facilitated the I-96 East versus West. We had a holiday tournament about 30 years ago, and we resurrected it in a different form, so that's going well. The Floyd Mayweather Classic. Van Mayfield is very close to that event. It comes back to help raise money and support the schools as well. And now we have a new event that's going to become, you'll hear more about it in the presentation as well, Crosstown Throwdown, our season opener football game, and you all will be a part of that coming up as well. And we have a lot of successful GRPS former alumni who are now employees of the district. If you used to be a student in GRPS, raise your hand. Look at you. Look at you. We really appreciate you coming back and serving and really sharing or enhancing the experience that you had with the kids of today. And if you didn't go to GRPS, we're not slighting you, but we're just, like I said, want to acknowledge those who have come back and participate. I see one of my former students right there. Okay, so I see a couple of them. Come on, Chelsea, let's go to the next slide here. Our athletic offerings. We have 22 high school sports. We've moved from 6 middle school sports to 15 now. We had 1 elementary offering. We're up to 6 now. So we're moving in the right direction. And this is something else I want to tackle. I want to create a competitive intramural league. So we're going to be working on that as well because, you know, everybody doesn't make the roster, but they still want to be involved in something. So we're going to be looking at intramural league. Where do we offer high school athletics? Ottawa Hills High School, the Bengals, and Union Red Hawk, the Red Hawk Nation there. Those are our middle schools. Now notice, if you go back to the middle schools, you notice that there's one missing. Ford is not there anymore. Ford is now a K-8 building. So you'll hear more about that when Mr. Walker comes up and show you the family of school charts there. And we have new K-8 programs. You'll see some elementary buildings that used to be K-5 now serve 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So we think it's important that you know what school programs and what do they do. We're working on aligning those feeder schools with the high school mascots. You know, a lot of K-8 buildings and elementary buildings have invested in branding themselves and their own identity. We want to get them in the lanes of the high school mascots, and so we're working on the plan and the principles as to how that would happen. You know, it's my goal to have that plan in place for 14 and 15 where the school colors and the mascots align with the high schools. What do we stand for? Our teachers, coaches, and our programs that value student success academically and athletically. What do we aim for? High levels of academic success. You know, aiming for high levels of academic success is what we all should be doing. You know, when we work with principals and teachers, you know, schools they get report card grades or grades that the states judge them on. And there's something called adequate yearly progress, and you may have heard people talk about AYP. You ever heard that term, AYP? Yeah. That's the score the state gives you or the federal government gives you and judges your school as to whether or not they're doing good or bad. You get on the good list or you get on the hit list for taking over or being closed if you don't meet AYP. And what I always teach principals or teachers is that you do not shoot for the bare minimum. Because if you miss it, you're under the wire. So always shoot for something above adequate yearly progress. And so when our GPA requirement is 2.0. And if that's all we tell athletes to shoot for, then if they miss it, they'll have room to recover. So let's go for the dean's list, the principal's list, the honor rolls, the 3.0 and above. And if by chance you don't make it, you land somewhere in the high 2s. But like I said, if you only aim for 2.0 and you miss it, there's problems. Preparing student athletes for high school graduation and beyond. It's just a recurring thing. That's what we have to focus our minds on, what we're preparing them for. What do we expect from our athletes? We want them to be committed to their own success, to their family success, to the classroom, to their teams, to their school, and be committed to the concept of community service, just like all the students who came back and are involved in the district now. What do we expect from our coaches? We expect all of our coaches to be ethically and morally sound. We want you to remember every time you leave your house, you represent yourself, your family, your name, as well as the school district, your team, your program. We expect coaches to have a student-focused approach. You know, remember that the athletic environment is still a learning environment, and you have to have a student-focused approach there. We expect all coaches to continue developing their skills. I talked about that a little while ago. And we expected our coaches to be committed to the success of the GRPS student athletes. What do we want from our programs? We want those high quality learning experiences, a progression of development, to watch kids go from here to there, just like we look at the math scores, they were here and now they should be there. We want to see a progression of development. Self-esteem, self-confidence, leadership. We know a lot of successful people in this world, in this state, in this nation, have athletic backgrounds. They learned that from you all, and it enhanced their lives in other areas. Place a value on, like I said, the concept of community service. Go back and teach somebody what you learned. Here's just a little collage of people who chose GRPS, chose to either attend GRPS, work for GRPS, or volunteer in GRPS. And look where they are now. Our president, many of you know David Harris, Bobby Joe Kenyon, the Teacher of the Year, Justin Keenan, our superintendent, our former board president, Cameron Bradfield, Kelvin Grady. Oh, he's in the audience, right? Did I see him? Patrick Miles, Coach Sparky, Dante Carey, Jalen Couch, Mr. Lewis, Toya Likely. That's one of my former students, Porter Mayberry. You know, like I said, these people, and Sugar Mill, everybody knows Sugar Mill, and Janelle Carter. Like I said, you know, they either chose to go to GRPS, work in GRPS, or volunteer in GRPS. And look at them now. We're going to be doing some heavy recruiting for mentors and volunteer coaches for our elementary program. If you know anybody's interested, you know, have them contact our website and let us know about their interest. But we want to connect students with mentors. And really, because like I said, you know, we try to create that circle of support around kids. You can't be around them all the time. The parents can't be around them all the time. School can't be around them all the time. So those times when they're not with us, how do we structure a quality experience or a quality contact or a quality environment? And I think we can do that through mentorships. Community events. Thanksgiving Day run that's coming up November, I don't know the date this year, but it's Thanksgiving Day. What is it? The 28th this year. It moves around all the time. Like I said, you know, we've grown that race from a few hundred to a few thousand now. And we want to continue to grow that. We brought it to downtown Grand Rapids. And like I said, these events help out what it is that you all do. And so it's important that you stay connected and participate and be visible in them as well. Next. The Holiday Hoops class, East versus West. We're going to do that again this year. It was our last year schedule there. Again, these things help us do what it is that we do here. The Floyd Mayweather Classic. We're going to do that again this year. Again, they support and help out the work that we do here and try to help us take it to another level. And this year, we are going to be having our season opener game, Ottawa versus Union, our crosstown throwdown. May the best, most prepared team win at Houseman Field. This is going to be a free event for the community. Free event for the community. So tickets are going to go like wow cakes, or hot fire, or whatever you say. Was it wildfire? I'll say wildfire, okay. Help me out. But they're going to go like wildfire or hot cakes, right? Got it. Now, do the math. Do the math. Walk through the math with me. The stadium holds 6,000 plus. Maybe we can squeeze 7,000 in there if the fire department doesn't, cite us. We are building this as an all-school, all-staff event. There are 17,000 students in the district. There are 3,000 staff members. There's about 5,000 community members that want to be there. So you're talking about over 20-some thousand people that want to be there with 7,000 seats. Somebody's not going to get in. So it's going to be sold out because it's free. So it'll be the highlight kickoff event for this. This will be the first activity of the new school year and of the transformation year. So we're really going to raise it to another level in terms of that. We've been meeting with a lot of our departments throughout the district in terms of the logistics, in terms of pulling this event off. We met with the coaches. The coaches are ready. Coach Ruffin, I see you in the back there. He's already knows the outcome of this. And if you want to know what the outcome, talk to him in terms of what the outcome is going to be. But we're really expecting a very highly spirited event between Ottawa and Union. Next. You guys will have tickets available to you today because they went online available, I think, August 1st. But somebody will talk to you about tickets today and how you get them here while you're here, so you can maybe have that already decided and resolved. We had new attendance boundaries drawn because of the transformation. That used to be 4 colors: Central, Creston, Ottawa, and Union. Now it's only 2, Ottawa and Union. So Ottawa's that green part, Union is that light yellow part there. So that's how the city looks now. New attendance boundaries for middle schools as well. So their lines have moved as well. So if you have any questions, your athletic director can get you detailed maps about these streets and what they mean and if somebody is in one area or another. We put together a transformational frequently asked questions for parents and community in terms of what that means, in terms of where do I have eligibility, where do I go, so on and so forth. And we'll have this available to you as well. This will all be online, and we have it in brochure form. Tryouts. Some of the sports are going to go through that process, usually with basketball. We wanted to ensure students and parents that teams were not already hand-selected and hand-picked, but when it's time for those seasons, that tryouts there would be a tryout process, and here's some of the elements that we want to see happen in tryout. You'll get a copy of this if you haven't already by email there, so that we show that as we had to consolidate the 2 programs and eliminate Creston, the closing of Creston, that those students would not feel like everything has been already predetermined and there are no opportunities that I can, be a part of at Ottawa or Union. So like I said, it's really sometimes an intense situation around basketball. Preseason, off-season expectations and preparation. These are things we want students to be aware of. Make sure you know your status. Stay in touch with the counselors. Get academic support when needed. Maintaining a GPA above 2.0. Don't just shoot for 2.0. Attend summer school if you need. And whatever that additional programming or preparation is that your coaches have set for you, that you're attending that. We're looking at redesigning how athletic boosters operate so that they can support what it is that you do more. We want to see our participation in girls' sports increase, having more of our young ladies involved in athletics because of the benefits that we know are derived from being participated or connected to athletic programming. And just an ending note here. The time students spend with you and the experience that they gain from that time will impact and enhance their lives forever. Forever. For this, I want to thank each and every one of you for all it is that you do, and we would like for you to continue to do that in terms of supporting our students and getting them prepared and ready for the next level. So thank you, and without any further ado, I'm going to bring up to the microphone Justin Walker. Let's give him a round of applause as he comes.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Justin Walker. I'm the new athletic director at Union High School. And what I'm going to do very briefly, for the sake of time, go over the new family of schools. As you see, we have Ottawa Hills Family of Schools Church, and their middle schools are Alger, Gerald R. Ford, which is now a K-8 program, Dickinson, which is a K-8, MLK, which is a K-8, and Sherwood, which is a K-8. And then you see below their elementary schools. For Ottawa Hills, these are the student athletes that will feed into your programs, that will continue to grow your athletic program. So as you're here, and we can go ahead and go to the Union one as well right now, to the Union slide. And Union High School, the list of all our feeder pattern, our family of schools is up there. At this professional development today is a great opportunity for you to start touching base with your feeder schools, your middle school coaches, the middle school ADs. Take advantage of this time, whether it's at lunch or the breakout sessions, to really get to know, exchange information, because it's going to be very key and important that you know who is in your feeder pattern, what they are doing, and make sure when their program aligns with yours. So when it's time for that 8th grader to come up and play football at Union High School, coach, you got a hand in knowing that they're prepared and they're ready to come to you from the jump. You don't have to go back and unteach habits that you didn't want them taught in the first place. So coaches, get with high school coaches, let them lead you, guide you, ask them questions, and find out their expectations for your program. They have expectations for you. That's part of their job. So they want to touch base with you. Make it a team effort from the bottom to the top where you can say it aligns. It's a perfect match for everyone's program. So again, we'll be doing elementary basketball, elementary track. So there's a lot of opportunities for our coaches to touch base with each other and make sure that we have a uniform thought and a goal and vision in mind. So we're not, have someone not on the same page, and that will cause problems in your program later. Pretty much that's it for me as far as the family of schools portion. And I will turn it over to Marcus Harris, who will be covering academic monitoring.
Good morning. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about academic monitoring. And pretty much when Mr. Johnson was up here, all of us, myself, all of us in education, coaches, teachers are here for mostly one thing, and that's making sure our students are academically sound in graduating high school. Okay, in your packet, you should have an academic monitoring paper clip together with some documents behind it. And so I'm going to go over that piece and share with you some resources that you can take back with you to share with your students. First of all, supporting students academically, study table. Middle schools and high schools have this. Middle schools, you're familiar with the Loop program that provides that academic study table piece. Expectations for coaches for study table. Make sure students are attending. Okay, so I'm sure attendance is kept at each study table, so we expect the coaches to follow through on that attendance and make sure students are attending. Follow through, communicate with study table staff and regular teachers. Okay, we got teachers that run our study table. I'm pretty sure it's the same at other schools. So following up with the study table staff and the regular school teachers for your student athletes. Coaches attending study table. I know most of you or all of you got jobs, but once in a while, a lot of times you got to peek your head in, make sure everything's running right at study table. Okay? Expectations for students. All student athletes should attend. And all student athletes have to sign in with staff. Follow study table rules. And again, communication with that study table group is going to be important. Okay? At Ottawa, we make sure all of our teachers have our coaches' email address and phone numbers and vice versa. And student athletes got to come in there and work. Okay, it's not just come in there and read a book. You got to make sure you have something to do. Going down, communication with building staff, teachers, advocates, athletic directors, etc. Contact information. Like I said, teachers, all teachers in your building should have all the coaches' contact. All the coaches should have the teachers' contact information. Face-to-face meetings, every once in a while popping up in the school. Like I said, I know you guys got jobs, but showing your face in the school for students to see you, showing for teachers to see you, for one, knowing that you're following up with the student athletes. The good and the bad. What I mean by that is not only focusing on if the kid is having a bad issue. The kid may be an all-A student, so encouraging that student to keep it up, even following up with that teacher. So makes not only the bad, if a student is getting bad grades, not just following up with that student, but the good ones as well. And showing your face in the building. Progress reports. Progress reports is a good resource to track students and what they're doing. I put a copy of what Ottawa Hills got. I believe it's the second page. That's what we use at Ottawa Hills. I'm sure some other schools got progress reports, but it's a way to keep daily track of how that student is doing. It accumulates a lot of paperwork, but it can be helpful, especially for a struggling student. Again, communication with students and teachers. Once you get that progress report, whether it says the students is doing A work, B work, C work, E work, coaches have to follow up with that teacher, with that student. How can we make this better? And hold students accountable. Students bring you a progress report that's not up to your standards. You know, we got to follow up with that student to make them better. NCAA eligibility. Coaches should know the process and requirements. Again, there's handout information in here. If you look at you got the light green and the electric green. The process for NCAA clearinghouse is not just for high school, middle school coaches as well. Light green piece talks about what students need to do freshman and sophomore year. And then it goes on what they should do for their junior and senior year. And so it's helpful for coaches to know this because ultimately the superior student athlete, the motivated student athlete wants to go to college to play sports. Division I and II level, there's only one way you're getting in. You have to pass the NCAA clearinghouse. And so coaches should know to be able to walk these students through the process along with the counselors and the teachers and myself to making sure students are qualified for the NCAA clearinghouse. Part of the NCAA clearinghouse is making sure your ACT and SAT test scores are accurate and up to standards. Yellow sheet has all of the test dates, registration deadline, late fees. Okay, so go over with your student athlete, especially if they're a junior and they're getting ready to take the ACT. Hey, have you signed up for the ACT? Here's the deadline. Here are the dates. Okay, we keep this information available in our office at Ottawa Hills. You have it with you. You can go over it with your students. And again, just communicating with your student athletes. Since you have this resource available, take it to your student athletes. Hey, do you plan on playing college sports? Here's what you need to do. Also with the parents as well. Setting goals for your team. Mr. Johnson mentioned it when he was up here. What do we aim for? Is it a 2.0 or is it higher? Okay, set goals for your team. Checking grades. Checking grades is important not only in the end season, but the preseason, in season, and out of season. Okay, I know a lot of you get concerned, you know, with in season, checking up grades, making sure they're eligible, but we have to hold our student athletes accountable for the whole entire school year. Okay, so fall sports get over. Does that mean we quit checking these students' grades? We should make sure we keep tracking them grades throughout the course of the year. ADs can pull grade reports at any time you request them. Okay, so whether you want to check grades weekly, bi-weekly, we can pull grade reports on any student anytime you ask. Okay, I know at the high school level, you may have to get with Chelsea at the middle school level how that works out. But pulling grade reports for students. Follow through with the student and the teacher. You get a grade report on your team. You got some students not doing too good, maybe even if they got 4 A's and 1 E. How can we help get this E up? So it's important that you communicate with your students and with your teachers on making sure we get those grades up. And then overall, going through each of these, the common denominator in all these topics is communication. Okay, we got to communicate with the student athlete, with the teacher, with the athletic director, with the counselor, because all of us is in the business of making sure our students ultimately at the bottom graduate from high school. Okay, and with graduating from high school, if you look at the last document, the Michigan Merit Curriculum lists what you need, what each student athlete needs to graduate from high school. Okay, so all of you have this piece handy, so even if you're in middle school, you can start communicating this is what you're going to need to graduate high school. Okay, high school coaches, it's helpful to check with your students from the time they are freshmen and going on to the sophomore, junior year, and senior year. Are you on pace to graduate? Okay. So that is it for academic monitoring. Again, we welcome you to another exciting school year and graduating our students, and thank you for everything. Turn it over to Kurt.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Something else we want to talk about was the transition from Coach EZ to GRPS. But I want to say it sounds like a lot, and it is a lot that we're asking of coaches, that we ask of teachers, that we ask of any staff. It is a lot, but can you do it? I think definitely yes. As I look out into the audience and I see the breadth of talent, years of expertise, energy, vitality, and I think we have the right group of people at the right time to do the right work. And so is it a lot? Yes, it is. But can you do it? Yes, you can. We discontinued the contract, the third-party contract that managed coaches for us through PESG and Coach EZ. And so now all of our athletic coaches will be transitioning back to becoming GRPS employees. And what that means is that if you have never been hired as a GRPS employee before or haven't worked for GRPS in recent years, that you need to go back through the hiring process. And many of you have already transitioned and done that. And if you have not, I want you to see Chelsea, because we have laptops here in the conference room where you can do that online application and so on and so forth to get that paperwork in so that you are showing up on our roster as a GRPS employee. The structure of how coaches are compensated, fee-based compensation, changed as well. Included in coaches' pay, or as a part of coaches' pay, are three areas. Professional development and meetings. That means attendance at meetings like this or other required meetings throughout the year as a part of the pay. The actual coaching duties and responsibilities, what it is that you do, that's a part of the pay. And then the administrative details, the things that need to happen administratively between you and your AD or you and your building. That's all, those are the three components of the coach's pay. And so we want to make sure everybody is successful in those three areas so that they are fully compensated for the work that they do as a coach. So if you have not done the GRPS application process, make sure you check in, just touch base with Chelsea and find out your status as to whether or not you should. And if so, we have, like I said, laptops loaded and ready to go to do to complete that application and move that process forward. There are some rules and laws that we want to just reemphasize, because anytime you don't follow a law, you are what? What's that again? Criminal. You know, that's a harsh way of putting it, but legally, you are committing a crime, you know, if you're not following the law. Very harsh way to put it, but we want to make sure that we're all following the laws that are placed upon us, especially as it relates to athletics. And so Justin's going to walk you through a couple of the mandates as it relates to athletic participation.
Thank you. If you could take out, there's a blue sheet in your folder that says heat acclimatization and conditioning in hot weather. If you could take that out, please. It's a very long, well, not a long document, but there's a lot of information on this. I'm not going to go through it word by word, but please, when you leave here, when you have some downtime at home, read through this document. There's a lot of important information pertaining to the conditioning of athletes during the off season with the start of football, soccer, tennis, and these sports starting up in the fall. It is very hot outside, and we want you all to be aware of the weather conditions when you're going through your practices. One of the big things is making sure that you pay attention to the weather. So on a hot day, maybe you're not, maybe you change the time of tennis practice from noon, you change it to maybe 5 or 6 o'clock at night when it's a little bit cooler. The main reason for that is we don't want to put our athletes in a situation when we can, we expose them to more heat than when they need to be handling at this point in time. Now, if your practice schedule dictates that you have to practice at a certain time and it's still a very hot day out, maybe you should maybe not be in full pads that day, or adjust your practice schedule or adjust your plan of attack that day just to make sure that we're protecting our student athletes. Every year, there are a lot of deaths when it comes to overheating and heat exertion for student athletes, and we want to prevent that, making sure we're giving them proper water breaks, make sure they're giving them proper rest, and then having some downtime in practice where they're not going 100% during the whole practice. Give them times where they can recover, recuperate, but yet it still can be a productive practice. You turn on the back page to the heat index. There's a guide that pretty much shows you what you should be looking for and what temperatures raise the risk of heat-related illnesses when it comes to our athletes. We should really learn the signs of dehydration when it comes to student athletes. Sometimes it can be anything from dizziness, lightheadedness, nauseousness, or anything like that. Those are signs you want to pay close attention to. Make sure that if you have a student that may have asthma, be aware that a lot of time heat can really affect a student athlete's asthma. So again, please make sure you take the time. Varsity coaches, if you have a JV coach that is not here, please make sure that you grab a copy or make a copy of this form for your rest of your staff. With that being said, also, just because if you're indoors, I'm sure all of you know our facilities are not air conditioned for the most part. The heat can still affect the student athlete while they're inside. That gymnasium can get very hot while you're practicing there. So be mindful. This does not only relate to the temperature outside of the building, but it can also affect student athletes while they're inside the building. So please be mindful of that while you're going through your practices indoors as well. The last thing, the yellow sheet of paper in your pamphlet that's talking about concussions. If you could take that out. This year, a new law as far as concussions was passed, and the main purpose of this law is to protect our student athletes and athletes across the nation from further injury when it comes to a concussion. There are steps that student athletes must take to return to competition with when they have been diagnosed with a concussion. It's not a coach's job to diagnose a concussion. It is not your job to say when the student athlete can come back. Your job is just to follow the direction of the athletic trainer or the doctor as the doctor prescribes them to sit out the times or whatever it may be. So please read through this document as well. And then on the back of this document, you will see the return to competition form. If a student has been diagnosed with a concussion, they are not allowed to return to competition, practice, or any type until you have this form, and that form is on file with your athletic director. If you allow a student athlete to participate without this form, you're pretty much taking all liability upon yourself. That is why we do not want coaches to diagnose a concussion, because unless you have medical training, you don't know how to properly do that. So that is why I don't know how many people completed their concussion training online. Can I get a show of hands? Okay, I see some hands not raised. Well, I'm not going to say anything else, so since Chelsea covered that portion. But we're going to get ready to do awards. But again, thank you for being here. Yes. He asked about baseline concussion testing for student athletes. At this time, we do not have a baseline concussion test. And I know what you're thinking, how do we know where they stand if we can do a baseline test? That's very difficult to do. But the best way to move forward, even without a baseline concussion test, is to take the advice of a doctor and the certified athletic trainer who is working with the student athlete. They still know how to recognize the signs of, or the lingering effects of a concussion, even though there wasn't a baseline testing done at the, prior to the season. So that's probably the best way to operate when dealing with a concussion, even though there's not a baseline test. So we will go ahead and start with the awards part of this, and I will hand it back over. Oh, I'm sorry, we're going to go to the website.
Yeah, I just want to also reemphasize, because it is a law that you have to have documentation that you've done that concussion training. We can't allow you to coach until we have that on record and we know who those individuals are who are missing that. We want to take you through, and many of you know Nick or have received a lot of emails from him, or maybe you've never met him. And I just want you to know he is a real person and he's here today. We're calling Quick Nick, and he's going to walk you through our website as a valuable tool that promotes what you do to the rest of the world, not just in your city or in this state, but I've had people visit this website from many other states. And so he's going to talk to you about what it does and your role in the information that shows up on it. And we're going to continually modify and update it until we get it to exactly where we want. But here's where we are now. So we'll have Quick Nick come.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? How many of you have actually gone to the website? Put up your hands. That's awesome. It's more than I was expecting. Every year, we're trying to make this better, bigger, include more modern pieces. Right now, as you can see, it has the function here in the front that says all of our blogs that are going to tell us about our events or any events that we have been doing. This part is the most important info from you guys, because every time for us, if you guys are sending us scores, any highlight from a player, any pictures that you have, we'll make sure that we can put it up on here so that, parents, community, your teams are getting, recognition for what they're doing. And that's every sport from A to Z. So that's a big piece for you guys. And all it takes is a text to an AD with the scores, an email to the AD or to athletics at the athletics email, and we can pop it right up in a timely fashion. The other pieces that are important, and it's important for you, but it's also important for your students and your families, is going to be the schedules. Up here in the schedules, we'll have both the high schools, and we're going to the MHSAA.com schedules. So when they click, it'll go to that, and they can sign up and actually get it on their phones if they get highlights or scores. So that's something to push to your families. For the middle schools, we'll also have them there, as well as the elementaries. The other piece for the schedules is we have our special events that will talk about the actual events and any details that they need to have. Another piece is going to be the documents. Those are for parents, information that they need to know. If there are things that you think that need to be added to any of this, please let us know and we can add those up there. But that's a good resource for your parents and your students. Now for you guys is the Coach's Corners. And the Coach's Corners, that's everything that we have for you. Right now, you're at the Coach's Manual. It's been updated, and you can click on it, and this will have all of the information that's needed within that manual. It has a lot of the things that we talked about today, as well as in the appendix at the end, it'll have a lot of the documents that you guys need to use during the year. In addition to the Coach's Manual, there's also we do like a weekly tip for coaches. We put up some of the awards that we do for you guys. We put them up there as well. And then if you have other information that you guys think you need to know that's directed, for you guys as coaches, let us know. We'll make sure that it's available to you so that at a click of a button, you can get it. Additionally, there's also the directory, and that's the directory for the athletics offices. But again, the biggest thing for me when it comes to the website is input from you guys so that we can highlight our students to not just our community, to our parents, but to anyone who wants to know about GRPS. So we can show all the good things that we know our student athletes are doing right now. But that's our website, and like you said, we're constantly trying to make it better, trying to get more things on there, and have more things available for you guys. So.
Thank you, Nick. At this point in time, we want to move into acknowledging and recognizing some of the successes and accomplishments that we experienced in the 2012-13 school year, and in our own way and fashion, a token of our appreciation and acknowledgement with a brief kind of award ceremony. I don't always follow the script, so you guys come on up, because I will rearrange it. And some of these individuals are present with us, and may not. If not, we'll get the award to them. And so we wanted to start by acknowledging someone with our Lifetime Service Award. And this award goes to an individual who has, over years, showed a commitment and dedication to Grand Rapids Public Schools Athletic Department or the district, as well in terms of commitment to excellence and a commitment to making sure things go well for students as well as staff. And this year, our recipient, many of you may know her. She was a staff member when I was actually a student as well. So our Lifetime Service Award for 2012-13 goes to Donna Hathaway. Let's give her a round of applause. And she's still on the team with us, and she's managing Houseman Field for us this upcoming year. And so her commitment still is felt and needed and wanted. The next award goes to the Feeder Program Award. And this award goes to a family of schools that have really stepped out and shown what it is that we would like to see in terms of making the linkage between elementary, between middle school, between high school, and working as a family of schools. And we continue to see this program constantly grow and develop in the direction that it should go. And we are seeing a lot of the outcomes on the other end as a result of that work. On the income, we're seeing the outcome. And so the 2012-2013 Feeder Program Award goes to Ottawa Hills. Oh, congratulations, sir. Now the next award is going to be presented by Mr. Harris.
The next award goes to the overall outstanding program. This program had a really good season this year. Several of the boys qualified for state. All state was in the 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, 100 meter, 110 hurdles. We were runner-up in state finals, which was the furthest that the program had gone since 1951 when they had won the state championship. 3 of the boys' records were broken this past year in the 200 meter, 100 meter, and 4x200. Overall dual record of 4-2 in the conference. Increased the number of student athletes on the team. Were state champs in the 4x200 relay. And overall team finished runner-up in the state and in the regionals and in the conference. So the overall outstanding program is Ottawa Hills Boys Track and Field. And Coach Shellman could not be with us as he's at AAU Nationals coaching as we speak. So I'm going to turn it over to Kurt.
All right, congratulations, Ottawa Hills. That title, runner-up, is significant because it is actually a state title. That's one of the reasons they don't call it second place, because it's actually a state title. So that is really quite an accomplishment to capture a state title. It's a special award, I think, because one of the records that was broken, Mr. Zender, Darren, was one of the records I was a part of for 32 years at Ottawa Hills. And Coach Shellman had told me, I think about 2 years ago, that he was going to bring my name down off the record board. And it didn't happen that first year. The second year it didn't happen. But the times were getting closer and closer, you know. And so this year it came down, you know. And, you know, bittersweet moment. You know, you like to walk in the building and see your name up there and all that sort of thing. But at the same time, you know, records really should fall every 3 to 4 years. You know, if we can get on that flow, because that means kids are getting faster. Because, you know, I would hate to think nobody had ran fast as we ran, you know, 32 years ago. But it shows that the kids are getting faster, times are getting better, performances are getting higher. You know, and so every 3 to 4 years, those records should be falling. So Philippa Jones is a record holder up there as well. I think Ms. Hoskins is going after some of your records. But it was quite a very spirited moment to have the teams come home with a state championship. We were really, really proud of Ottawa Hills and the work that had been placed in there. And like I said, you know, we saw a lot of the work on the income a couple years ago. He set a goal, and we'll start working hard at it. And an accomplishment, and that's what we expect, and we know that can happen with each and every one of you, and many of you are on the road and on the cusp to state level championships right now, and so we want to continue that development. So we're going to move on with the next award, who's going to be presented by Chelsea Brim.
Hey guys. Up next we have a list of middle school awards, so that will be this section. The first one that I would like to hand out is our Middle School Athletic Director of the Year. The recipient of this award very much deserves it. He's been with the district for 3 years now. His journey as an AD has been an exciting one, and one full of growth. I can tell you from where he was on day one to where he is now, he's come an extremely long way, and we couldn't be prouder of him. He strived to create maximum opportunities and possibilities for his student athletes while maintaining a positive learning environment. Under his direction, Harrison has come to have one of the strongest parent support models that we have. His commitment, hard work, and unique ideas do not go unnoticed and are extremely appreciated by Central Office and his coworkers. This year's recipient is Kenny O'Shaughnessy at Harrison. We'll get pictures later of everybody that's actually here and has an award. The next award, we have 2 middle school teams of the year. The first one goes to one of the most unique and energy-filled teams that I've seen in a while. We've had a handful of them at the middle school level, but this one really stood out this past year. Composed of students from C.A. Frost, UPrep, and Montessori, the theme swim team student athletes from all 3 of those schools came together for their common compassion of swimming. They're constantly on the pool deck with all kinds of signs, cheers to show their support of one another, and we don't always see that at the middle school level. The coaching staff has done a tremendous job. The leadership of the athletic directors of those programs have done a tremendous job keeping those students on track academically and athletically. They also give back to the community. They were involved in a handful of community projects, including decorating baskets for, or bags for a food basket. Congratulations to the theme swim team. I'll let AD Dan Covey and AD Joe Linda come on up and accept the award for that program because the coach is not here. No, there's not one for each school, so you guys will just have to rotate it around. Or coach can keep it at the pool. Congratulations. Our second middle school team of the year is one who's kind of been came out from behind the woodworks this year. Never had an extremely strong program, but the coaching leadership of that program for the past few years, they've been building, and finally this year they were able to make their debut. The Westwood 7th and 8th grade baseball team, it had its most successful season of the program's history. They didn't finish the season with a full 9-member squad. They actually played in our baseball tournament the last day of the season with only 8 players. So that meant they had an automatic out every time that ghost person was up to bat. Yet they still came out on top. These young men, under the guidance of Coach Jordan Moore and their athletic director, B. Johnson, were involved in a handful of community projects. They did a food drive with their program, and those guys were out there weeding their fields and always just had a positive attitude. And for that, they're receiving the middle school male team of the year. Nobody from Westwood is here, I don't think. I don't think B's here or Coach Moore is here. Coach Woodbeck's here. We can send it home if you want. Along with that program, Jordan Moore is actually the recipient of our male coach of the year for the middle school level. He coaches not only baseball in the spring. You just want to take them all back to him? There you go. Thanks, Coach. Make sure those get back to the school. Coach Moore coaches baseball in the spring, and he coaches their football program in the fall. He's a teacher in the building, has just done a tremendous job of really molding those student athletes from that program at Westwood, keeping them involved, keeping them on track. So we thank him for his work, even though he's not here today. Our final middle school award goes to our female coach of the year, and I don't think she's here either. This recipient is an individual who's really given selflessly to her programs, to all her student athletes, the entire athletic department for years. She actually started out as a high school coach up at Union. She's a product of GRPS. She graduated from Union. I think that's one of the reasons she's so vested in her programs. She's now been a middle school coach for the past 5 years. She coaches year-round, volleyball, basketball, track, all the way through. She truly leads by example and always instills a hard work ethic and positive moral behavior in her student athletes. Harrison's Kristen Lewandowski very much deserves this award this year. Kenny, you can come get it for her if you want. Take it back. So that wraps it up for the middle school piece. I will hand it back over to Mr. Johnson for the remainder.
All right, thank you. The next award actually comes from my office, and this is for the High School Athletic Director of the Year. I only had 2 candidates to choose from now. Flip a coin. But it really, this award, let's see, it's given to an athletic director that really shows the leadership ability, person who makes all the trains run on time, very detail oriented, make all the programming that needs to happen the way we need it to happen. And just because, you know, one or the other doesn't get it this year does not mean that next year they probably won't get it. But as I look at what needs to happen in athletics and the progression and the development from one year to the next, from the past to the present, you know, and then looking into the future, you know, this individual is really starting to carve out a niche and a standard that pleases me in terms of how the work gets done. And so for this year, for 2012-2013, the High School Athletic Director Years, the High School Athletic Director of the Year award goes to Marcus Harris. Something going on over. Congratulations. Um, Something going on over at Ottawa. What's going on? You guys are coming up on stage a little too frequently. Next award will be presented by Mr. Harris.
The next award is given to the high school male team of the year. This team had an outstanding season. They have gotten better and better each year under our wonderful coach. Some of the accomplishments from this year's team, they had 6 state qualifiers, academic All-American, increased number of students on the team. First year diver went to regionals, winning dual meet season, which hadn't happened in a number of years, 3rd in the conference, which was up from 5th from last year. A 30-year-old record broken as well, and 5 all-conference. So this year, the male team of the year goes to Ottawa Hills Swimming. Coach Eve Julian will be accepting the award. Next, I'm going to turn it over to Justin.
I will be presenting the award for high school female team of the year, and it will go to Union's volleyball team. They had a great season. Their numbers were up again this year, from what I was told, and they also made all-state academic team. So the high school female team of the year is Union's varsity volleyball. And along with that, the high school female coach of the year was the varsity volleyball coach, Jay Neiman, but she is currently out of town at a training with her volleyball coaches and her staff, so I will accept those awards on her behalf. And now I will turn it back over to Mr. Harris to present high school male coach of the year.
The next award, as Justin mentioned, goes to the high school male coach of the year. This coach exemplifies a year-round work ethic, has very attention to detail and structured communication with student athletes in the athletic department, and the teaching staff is great, completes tasks on time, always communicating with me, very knowledgeable of the sport. They had an exceptional season with multiple records broken. His level of overall leadership of not only his high school program, but the middle schools and elementary schools as well. The coach has a vision. We would always meet when I first came over, saying we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to increase our numbers, we got to do this, we got to do that. And he always used to tell me, Mr. Harris, Rome was not built in a day. And so, the high school male coach of the year goes to Antonio Shellman, Ottawa Hills track team. Coach Shellman's done a wonderful job with the track team, and like I said, he's still coaching right now as we speak. Going to turn over to Kurt Johnson.
I think I have concluded. We've done all those?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. All right, well then, that's going to conclude this portion of the program. Oh, we have one more? Oh, the raffle. All right. But first of all, give all of yourselves a round of applause. Like I said, as we acknowledge, some of our peers and colleagues, each year, a chance for you to be here on stage, becomes really real in terms of the work that you do. So we are going to conclude this part with a raffle. We have a nice Big Ten stuff carrier, luggage carrier.
I'm no Vanna, so.
So I think you all had numbers when you came. Put your names on paper, and we're going to just kind of, am I drawing the name?
Whoever wants to do it, yeah.
Marcus, you draw it. Draw the name.
This was donated by the Big Ten, so we figured we might as well just raffle it off here.
The Big Ten Conference has donated several things to us this year, and we've been filtering those things down, I think, to our middle schools, and we'll probably get a chance to use some more things at the high school. Actually, it was a connection from Dr. Dana Monk. Her brother works in the Big Ten Conference, and so it makes a little connection there. So it's important of not what you know, but who you know. So at this time, we're going to see who wins this nice carry-on luggage set. If I can't read the name, then that means I keep it. Shannon Baker. It was close because I almost couldn't read the name. I was about to keep it. Shannon Baker, congratulations. Congratulations. And congratulations to you all. Congratulations to you all. At this point in the program, we're going to continue to move on with the day because we're pretty much right on schedule. A quick little break here as we break out into our breakout sessions. I'm going to be meeting with all the varsity coaches in the media center, which is next door. When you walk out here, you turn to the right. After you have a little leg stretching break and maybe stop at the donut table. Middle school, we'll be meeting in room 152. High school, it says media center as well. Oh, that's in, hang on a second, let me get a clarification here. I got two groups in the media center.
Yep, it's split in two.
Oh, okay. Oh, there's space for both of us in the media center. So high school with Marcus Harris in the media center, varsity coaches specifically with me in the media center, middle schools with Chelsea in room 152. And then if you're a first-year coach, you're going to be with Justin Walker. If you're a first-year coach, this is your first year coaching with Grand Rapids Public Schools, you will be with Justin Walker in room 148.